What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. So this is going to be a commentary of my solo flawless Shattered Throne run. For this, I was using a hunter, and I'm going to speed up this opening encounter by 2 times because it is just boring, and it's basically just a bunch of ad clear. So right there, I just took a bunch of physics damage. So that's something I can talk about. One thing that's really nice in Destiny now is that you can't die to physics damage. So it has made solo flawlessing dungeons a lot easier. And what's cool about this dungeon is you don't even have to solo flawless it to get the emblem. You just have to solo it. So if you're very new to solo content and you want an emblem out of it, I would suggest starting with Shattered Throne. So right now, I'm just looking up a map of the opening encounter because for some reason, I never know where I'm going here. So I just always need a map. So I would definitely suggest that so you're not running around aimlessly because the symbols change every time you run it. But like I said, this is just literally running around killing ads. So you can see there, I procced Revitalizing Blast on this guy because I'm running Solar, and just a few sword swipes and he's almost dead. And then I go get a few other Solar kills with my melee because I'm running Healing Grenades and then Ember of Empyrean so that I can extend my Radiant and Restoration with Solar kills. That's also why I have Callous Mini Tool on. So that's a great way to survive. And then I'm using my Ophidius Bathe build, which I do have a build breakdown on my channel if you're interested in that. But yeah, Ophidius Bathe's great. I also ran this on my Hunter. Well, obviously I'm running it on my Hunter, but I soloed it on all 3 characters. And when I did it the first time, I was using Bad Juju and Celestial Nighthawk. And with that setup, you can pretty much have a golden gun for every symbol, which is really nice because you can take these bosses out like damn near instantly. Even though, as you can see, I just melted one in like 4 chill clip fusion rifle shots. So they're way less difficult than they used to be. This dungeon, more than any, has been power crept, which makes sense because it is the first dungeon. So the bosses have just progressively gotten more and more health because we've gotten more and more strong. But this was the first dungeon that I ever soloed. And it took me like 6 or 7 hours. I remember struggling on that ogre boss for a long, long time. And I was actually using Hunter because I think at the time I remember popping Celestial Nighthawk. So I think I was on Solar, but I might have also switched up my strategy and crutched Invis and Tether. Because Invis was like really good back in the day when we didn't have all the damage resists that we have now. Yeah, like the first 3 dungeons I ever soloed and solo flawless was on Hunter crutching Invis. Just like I remember Prophecy in between doing damage to the boss. It was really good to have Invis for like leading up to boss damage. And then I think I used Anarchy and a Tether. And then, like I said, it's really nice on that Ogre boss. But here you can see just like how easy it is to survive. Like I'm playing reckless as hell there and barely even getting into the red. Just because Restoration, even though it's been nerfed, it's still very, very, very strong. Plus the damage resist that we have now. So here I'm just getting that chain going again. Got 12 seconds of Radiant and Restoration. We're just going to deal with a bunch of the ads. And then, yeah, again, Revitalizing Blast, a couple fusion shots, a couple sword swings, and he's down. So very, very easy to deal with these guys now compared to in the past. And Eager Edge is really nice in this opening encounter, just because of how much running around there is to do. But yeah, so this dungeon, definitely a good introduction to doing solo content. I definitely recommend it. And if you've never soloed it or soloed anything, I definitely recommend doing like a trial run like I said, the first dungeon I soloed was this one because you only needed to solo it, not solo flawless it, to get that emblem. And then I refined my strats, and then I solo flawless Pit of Heresy, and then I went back and solo flawless this one. Because once you solo a dungeon, it's not that much harder to solo flawless it. I would say soloing it the first time is harder than solo flawlessing, because then you work out your strats, because there's only so much you can learn by watching people. You have to actually do it to learn like what the, like there's little nuances that players do that do this all the time, like I do, that you might not pick up on just from watching. It just comes from experience and knowing like what's killed you before or caused you issues so that you can avoid it in the future. So here we have a little skip. So I do my eager edge, and then I do another eager edge, and then we're actually able to still stay up top. So that's just a little skip, but it doesn't really matter. You don't have to do that. You can just run the normal way around. But yeah, so definitely recommend getting your strats sorted before attempting any solo flawless. So like I said, when I was doing this, I know I could like solo flawless this pretty much with whatever type of loadouts I want to use, because it's by far the easiest solo flawless. The biggest risk in this one is dying to the jumping puzzles and not so much the combat encounters. That being said, I did it once on each character, and then I just picked the class that I thought might be the most entertaining because I make YouTube videos. So for me, that was Hunter, because Celestial Nighthawk is able to one-shot the final boss. So that's why I wanted to go with Hunter for this run. But yeah, the other characters are just as easy to solo flawless with. So here, Wish Ender, if you have it, is wonderful for taking out these ads. It's an exotic primary, so it does 40% more to red bars. Plus, being the Wish Ender, it does more damage to Taken, and it triple penetrates targets. So even on those orange bar knights, it two-shots them. And then all the red bars at one-shots. And then it's really nice for the ogre section as well. Like a sniper would be good too, but snipers are special ammo. So if you don't have that, then you're kind of SOL, and then you got to plink away with a scout rifle or something. Because I definitely recommend skilled players that are fast and know how to like eager skate and stuff. You can skip by this part without killing the ogres. But this is a solo flawless run, and I'm trying to show you like the proper strats. So you definitely want to take your time. So 3-shot Goldie's really nice here because you can take 3 out, just bang, bang, bang. And then you also want to know where that, see there, I just looked. There's that spawns in. Don't run into those because the Taken thing will swirl around and knock you off. So definitely be careful where you're jumping and where you're going, and get used to knowing where those are. And then know where the ogre spawns are. And I don't really showcase it in this because I killed them so fast, but they have an eye blast that will knock you off. So you want one of these walls behind you so that they can't push you off. Because if you're standing on these little beams, they're going to start doing that eye blast and you're going to fall to your death. So definitely stick to those things. But you have to go so far forward to spawn them in. So that's also another thing to note. But with this guy, like, it doesn't matter much because you can just take him down so quickly with the bow. Plus, I was lined up straight with him, so even if he were to shoot me, I'd probably just go straight backwards. But if you're on the beam running like horizontally, I don't know if horizontal, vertical, running like north-south instead of east-west, if you're on the east-west beam, then you have nowhere to like back up onto and you'll just get blasted off. So anyway, that's my advice for the ogre part. This part used to be quite difficult because you couldn't regen health here. So like Devour was really good back in the day. I think Risk Runner was nice because I think maybe their melees are arc. But anyway, now with Restoration, literally you can just heal your way through anything. But before, like, Recovery didn't work there. And then Eager Edge, you're able to just like get out so quickly. So yeah, that part is a complete joke now. This part, you have to watch for the boop walls. So this is just experience. just knowing when it's going to shoot, and then watch out for these phalanxes. So I jump over his head there so that he can't boot me off. And I could have just went to this ledge and completely skipped them. But again, you just want to be wary of those taken blaster things. And then here we just sit back and take out all these phalanxes with Wish Ender. So again, you don't have to do this. I just do it because this is a solo flawless run. And when like 4 of those guys aim at you all at once, it can blast you into Narnia. And again, I have an eager sword, so I could probably still recover. But why risk it? It takes, what, 15 seconds to take them all out with Wish Ender? So it's really not a big deal. And you can take them out from like super far away. So here, I swapped to Anarchy and a Fusion. And now you see I have like no ammo. But that's fine. Because Celestial Nighthawk does the bulk of the work. I've got 2 kinetic weapon surges on, which buffs my Celestial by 17%. And then Radiant also buffs it. And we've got Revitalizing Blast. So right there, I just got a heavy brick, so I'm chilling. We've got Revitalizing Blast from the artifact, so it's a 15% debuff. And look at how much work Restoration is doing. Like, in the past, you're dead there. And like I said, this boss in particular was like way harder than the final boss for me my very first time I soloed it. Because that boss like rotates and he pushes you, so you don't really have control of where you're going all the time. But here, I'm able to just keep Radiant up like the entire time. So I'm taking out the ads because those Vandals will pop their immunity bubbles. And then the Goblins make other enemies immune. So these ads are a real pain in the ass to deal with. I remember back in the day, I would use a Void Inaugural Address pulse rifle from Leviathan Raid. And it was really good here because it could chip away. Like, it was good for long range for taking out the Vandals and Goblins. And then it could chip away at the Wizards. Because you could see, I just melt the Wizards now. But I have that Petitioner's Mark timer at 35 seconds. And it only refreshes when you pick up that thing that the Wizard drops. So back in the day, you had to get their health down before. So that you could kill them within that 40-second timer and all the other ads. But now, it's basically a piece of cake. Few fusion rifle shots. So then I swap to my damage. Now I've got 3 armor charges. Swap to my DPS loadout, which I highly recommend setting up before you run. And there you can see, I didn't shoot my Anarchy because I wanted to see if I could one-shot him. And you can't quite, but you do a massive amount of damage. And then just a couple shots and you're done. So those orbs too that the boss shoots, you used to have to shoot those. Like if you got hit by 2, you were probably dead. Where now, here I'm just looking for a bit of ammo. Where now, you can like tank them all because of damage resistance from 100 resilience. So then I just swap back to my Ad Clear loadout, which is a Phidias Spathe. And we're going to get lots of primary kills with Heavy Ammo Finder on so that we can hopefully get some Anarchy ammo. So normally I would have an Eager Edge Sword on here. Like, look how slow I'm going. But this is the one dungeon without rally flags. So as a result, you don't want to change loadouts too much because we do want some Anarchy for the final boss. And again, you can use, if you don't have Anarchy, there's lots of things you can use. I just like using Anarchy because it gets all the knights' health down very equally. And you want those knights to die all within like 10 seconds of each other because they drop those little like Petitioner Burden. Oops, sorry, meant to slow it down. They drop like those Petitioner's Burdens or whatever they're called, like what the Wizards dropped in that last fight. They drop something similar, but they will despawn if they're on the ground too long. But once you pick them up, that's when DPS starts. But if you don't have 3, you won't deal max damage to Dull Incaru. Like, you deal significantly less damage if you only have 1 or 2. So that's why you want them all dying within a set amount of time, because that will give you the longest DPS phase. That being said, Dull Incaru is a friggin' pushover. Literally, champions have more health. At least if you're hitting Dull Incaru with the ×3 finite thought buff. If you're not, then Dull Incaru actually has quite a bit of health. But yeah, it's like a damage multiplier. Because Celestial Nighthawk can literally one-shot it. But even still, depending on what your strategy is and what character you're using, you might have to DPS for like 20 seconds or something. So you definitely want those knights to die all at once. And then this part, so see, I just got special ammo and I just got heavy there. So if you were low on ammo, those Shadow Thrall will infinitely spawn. So you can just sit up there and just keep farming them until you get your ammo. So that's kind of your way around not having a rally flag. So here I swapped to a bow. It sucks that there is no rally flag, obviously. It'd be nice to not have to farm for ammo, but that's just what we have to do. So I take those phalanxes out because, again, I don't want to get booped off. It's a time waste, and you could die. And then this is probably the most threatening part to your solo flawless, in my opinion. I have died here in the past, trying to do a solo flawless. So I take that hobgoblin up, but that's not totally necessary because, again, these ads are pushovers now, and for some reason I can't hit that guy because bows are projectiles. But again, it just comes down to getting used to knowing when those taken boopers are going to boop. So yeah, just watch it. Like there, those ones were pretty close, but I just committed and went for it because I knew I had like a split second to get past it. So then I'm going to wait on those ones. And then yeah, so for the knights, we're going to stick one each with Anarchy, which is going to tick their health down. And then we're going to focus on the Scions because the Scions infinitely spawn and they spawn on both sides of the boss room. So we tick with Anarchy on the Knights and then we want to focus on the Scions because Scions will duplicate. So you need to get them down ASAP. And then once they're down, it's just a matter of cleaning up the Knights and then we're going to hit Dull Incaru with a melee for Revitalizing Blast, so a 15% debuff. And we'll have our armor charge, so kinetic surge. So yeah, our celestial will hit for a ton of damage. So here I proc restoration real quick with my nade, just get the kill off in time. I only had like 1 second left there. I should have waited till I actually saw the Scions spawn in, and then clean up the rest of the Scions from the other side of the room. 2 knights are dead. Here's the other one. Hit him with an Anarchy. He did some decent damage to me, but I still had a wrestle going. Hide behind the pillar to get Celestial Nighthawk. And then we're going to one-bang the boss. So that was a solo flawless of the Shattered Throne. I hope it was helpful and informative. And if it was, then a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And thanks for watching. Take care.